This is Highland Lake Association Water Quality Committee giving a demonstration of some of the techniques and equipment that we use to measure water quality on the lake. One of the tests that we do is make a profile from top to the bottom of the lake of the dissolved oxygen and temperature. Our procedure is, before we even get on the lake, to turn on the meter that I'll show in just a moment. And in at least 15 minutes of it in advance of getting on the lake, then we get on the water and go to the deepest part of the lake. And the way that we verify that we're at the deepest part is we use a depth meter to place into the water and put that into the water and note the depth, and then adjust our location appropriately. Once we're verified that we're in the deepest part of the lake, we throw an anchor to keep us in place, and we do the rest of the preparation of our equipment. What we use is a Yellow Springs Instruments dissolved oxygen temperature meter. And before we start the actual measurements, this has to be calibrated, and the way that we do that is to press two of the buttons that you see in proper sequence, and set the proper elevation for Highland Lake. Verify that we have fresh water, so that there's zero salts that we'll be measuring, and then it's ready to place in. Now the demonstrator's right hand is on the probe at the moment. That goes into the water. We start at the surface. The technique is to jiggle the probe up and down and record. And then I'll show you a paper in just a moment. We record the dissolved oxygen and temperature as we read these in the probe, and once they're recorded on some paper that I'll show you, we go down to the next 1 meter depth, and the cable that is attached to the probe is marked off in 1 meter distances, so that marked and numbered, so that we can tell what depth that we're working at, and make sure that we go through the proper sequence of 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. The lake is a little over 20 meters deep, so we keep going through this at depth until we reach the maximum depth of the lake, then pull it back up twice along the way and record the depth and the measurements. For purpose of quality control, we verify that what we're measuring the second time as we come up is somewhat close to what we measured as we were going down. And then our last measurement will be at the surface. We record all this on proper paperwork that is sent into a local coordinator, regional coordinator for the Volunteer Lakes Monitoring Program. That person enters it into a database that is at the University of Maine, and the measurements are available for everybody in the world to see. And that happens usually at the end of the season. And the probe itself, consists of some components that from time to time we have to change the membrane and parts that are on the components, and you'll see a demonstration of that in one of the other episodes. The reason that we measure the dissolved oxygen temperature of the lake from top to bottom is that as the summer goes on, the lake stratifies, and there's different measurements between the top layer of the lake and the bottom of the lake, and that boundary between the two layers changes as the season goes by.